we have to understand is that there is a limiting factor in all feedback and communication. So let me give you just about 30 seconds at your table, and I want you to kind of break this apart. I'm not looking for a limiting factor. I am looking for the limiting factor of all feedback and communication. Check it out with your colleagues. What do you think it is? All right, let's check it out. Let me tell you what it isn't. It is not the riskiness of the message that you need to share, but it is how safe you can help me feel hearing the message. How many of you got it? Got a few out there. Yeah. And of course, this is a quote from Carrie Patterson and Joseph and David, etc. What an interesting, we often measure the risk and say, I don't think I could share that with you. And when you withhold the feedback from me, you're withholding my future. Here's the challenge. It's not that I can't hear you. It's just that I don't feel safe listening to you. Now, there is a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is a function of physiology. Can I pick up the wavelengths? Which my wife is telling me that I can't recently. But she says I can't figure out why it's only my voice intonation that you can't pick up. I haven't figured that out yet. Listening is a function of the heart. And if I don't feel safe with you, I may hear you, but I am not listening to what you have to say. Now, I had an interesting experience actually a couple of years ago now. I was doing some training in the middle of a cornfield outside of St. Louis at a manufacturing plant. And when I had finished the 2 days of training, the HR director who had set this up came to me and she said, well, what do you think of our new training room? I said, it's awesome. She said, this is the first training that has ever taken place in this room. And then she paused and she said, oh, by the way, this is not just a training room. This is a safe room. I said, safe room? She said, yeah. She said, this room has been constructed to withstand an F5 tornado. And she took me over to the walls, and they were about this thick. And there were about 6 hinges on the door that weighed about 150 pounds, etc. And I thought, this is really ironic. I have spent 2 days talking about psychological safety in a room that is actually constructed to physically keep us safe. And I begin thinking about some of the parallels that exist, because when you begin looking at a safe room, one of the most significant parts of the construction is how they have taken rebar, this reinforcing bar, and they have actually placed it within the concrete so that it creates a tension that allows strength to actually encompass everyone in that room. And I got to thinking about this relative to giving feedback. And my question is, how safe could I make it? If I were to take the rebar of mutual purpose and I were to thread this through the environment in which I'm giving feedback, if I were to take the rebar of mutual respect and I were to thread this very carefully through the environment of which I am giving feedback, because if you believe that I care about what you care about, and you believe that I care about you, I can listen to almost anything that you say. And if I do this well, even when I'm getting feedback that perhaps is harsh or critical, I have the capacity to step back and to reweave this environment that seems to be hostile, because I can begin to neutralize what you're saying to me, taking the sting out of it and learning to even embrace negativity, understanding that what you may be giving me is a gem of feedback that no one has ever given me.